pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sure.
Like Trustee Hauk's not quite on.
He's calling me right now. I think he's having trouble, obviously. Bill? Bill? Oh.
It's very odd. We were all okay just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, he was here, but he didn't have any audio.
Calling me again. Can you hear me, Bill? Oh, there you are. Yeah. Your audio?
Now, do we need to make sure to say Union Township for this one?
Yep,
You
Union Township,
closed your old meeting,
Mount
right?
Pleasant. We can still start if you'd like.
I guess it
You
doesn't
guys want to
work.
wait for Bill?
He's gonna try again.
Okay.
Okay. Call me back if you need it. Okay, he's gonna try to get back in.
I'll start the roll call now. Supervisor Gunning,
Supervisor Gunning here, Union Township, Isabella County, State of Michigan.
Treasurer Rice,
Here, Union Township, Mount Pleasant, Michigan, Isabella County.
Clerk Cody, Mount Pleasant, Michigan, Union Township, Isabella County. Trustee Lannon,
Here, Union Township, Isabella County, State of Michigan.
Trustee Melky,
Here, Union Township, Isabella County, State of Michigan, the United States of America.
Woohoo.
Trustee Worley,
Here, Union Township, Isabella County.
and Trustee Hauk, looks like he's connecting.
Sounded like it was not detecting his microphone this time.
Oh, we'll say technical difficulties.
All right, we're going to wait on Bill, or we're going to go ahead and move forward.
Here's popping in. Are you here, Bill?
There you go. No audio yet, Bill.
It's connecting.
Yep.
Doesn't work, Bill. Can you hear us?
Try restarting your computer.
Yeah,
That will help.
Did that noise you thought coming from me go away?
No,
it's still there.
still got feedback.
It comes and goes. Like it's kind of like a wave, almost like a wave of water or something like that.
Bless you.
Too.
Thank you.
Well, we can do, well, do we want to wait on the approval of the agenda till he tries to log back in, folks?
Yep.
Okay, yep.
I would make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Or
We want to wait for Bill to get back in here before we vote on that. Trustee Melky?
I know it's kind of late, but the township has been looking at training for our newly electeds regarding policy governance. And we do have an opportunity to have is it Miss or Mrs. Radwin?
Sue?
Sue Redwin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know if she had a
Ms.
title. So Sue Radwin for December 2nd and 9th for an opportunity for review of the governance policy and some training on that. And so if possible, I'd like to amend, I know we're in the discussion of approving it as is. I'd like to amend that so that we could get that, at least discuss approving that so we can get that in the books and we can nail down that time with Sue Radwin.
You want to put that on the agenda,
I would like to add that to the agenda.
the new
If-
business? Okay, so we
It
would,
should be brief, I hope.
why
I
don't,
can train them.
I make it F?
You guys will all raise your hands for that one, won't you?
Willie, would you like to amend?
I wouldn't
your
even charge you that
motion
much.
To add an E?
All right. We're gonna approve of the agenda with item F to
E.
be.
E.
If-
F.
I don't have an E. Why do you have an F?
Why do you have an F?
E.
You can have a
I have an E
Yeah, the
on
E.
discussion item, policy development, prohibition on registering and funding of firearms in the name of the township. Don't yet, that's on the packet.
I don't have that.
I don't
I don't
have
have
that
that.
either.
That's not in my packet.
No, it's in mine.
Did you add that in, Norm?
What the hell is the last
Want to
meeting?
give your address for everybody too?
Right.
That'll go over good.
What was controversial in the last meeting? We're taking away your guns.
I'll do the policy governance training and you handle the gun registration. How about that?
Was there a newer packet or something? Because I only have up to E.
Do you have it in your packet, Brian?
I do.
Yeah,
I do not.
on the.
I only
I
have
don't have it.
electronic, so
It wasn't.
Yeah, mine's
on the-
electronic. I got a D. I
Yeah,
don't have
mine's
E.
electronic.
It wasn't on the electronic, but
Nope.
it is on the, I noticed it wasn't on electronic, but it is on the, written. So. I don't know how.
I
you
didn't
wanna-
do that one because I didn't know about it.
How do you want to handle that?
It involves firearms. Let's just go ahead and pass it on to the next board.
Well, it was requested to be on, so why don't you just include that and say that one too, Norm, in your motion if you will.
It was only requested by one person, not a majority.
I don't even know what it is.
I don't either.
Tim had made the suggestion.
I have no information on it whatsoever.
Tim, how do you want it to be handled? Your recommendation.
None of you have information on it. I requested it to be on the agenda. It's on the agenda. I'll talk about it. It was a discussion item.
Okay, so there's no action involved then, eh?
No.
No,
All right, so I'm going to approve the agenda with the following amendments. That E will be discussion item, policy development, prohibition on registering and funding of firearms in the name of the township. And F would be a policy governance review scheduled meeting. Sound right, Brian?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
do you have a
So-
support?
Policy governance training, correct?
Right. Yeah, policy governance training
Scheduled
and scheduled meeting.
I didn't get the first one. I got like 2 words.
Policy, governance, training, dash, scheduled meeting.
Said the 2nd and the 9th, 2nd or the 9th.
I'll be happy to discuss it when we get there.
Okay,
Who
Yeah.
supported that?
Lisa had supported it before, I think, right?
Yeah, I don't want to support that because I don't have any information on the first one, so I'll
Yeah,
let somebody
Or-
else support it.
support Tim.
and you want to support, since that's your thing on the E?
Yeah, Tim said support.
Okay,
All right, so we have a motion to support. This is to amend the agenda with the addition of items E, which would be prohibition of firearms.
Registration and funding of firearms. And so,
in,
Yeah.
in the name of the township.
yep.
Want me to say it again, Ben?
I'm just like super confused on that one. And then F, policy governance, training, scheduling, correct?
Correct.
I'm having a real difficult time with that item E, folks. I have nothing in front of me. I have no idea what we're even talking about.
Same.
Yeah, and like I said, it was not in any of the, it did not show up on our electronic, but it did show up on the paper. That's why I mentioned it here and called it. But Tim was the one who had requested it, so why don't we just leave it up to him to discuss it when the time comes?
There's
Would
no
everybody
action.
be okay with that?
There's no
Okay.
action. It's just discussion.
Okay,
He just wanted
All
to
right.
say something.
okay, that'd be fine. Bill, did you catch that? Still no audio for you, dude.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
So why don't you,
Call
Phil,
in.
why don't you use your phone and call in and use your phone as your audio?
I think he called you a name, Norm. I'm not sure what it was.
I'm trying
I'm
to
not
read
gonna try
that.
to guess.
Yeah.
You need to know how?
How to call on the phone?
You
I think you said have Mark unmute me.
unmute Mark. He's the one that's calling in.
Mark, can you unmute Bill?
The 576 last 3.
Yeah. The bottom one?
Yeah, I just asked him to unmute.
How do you do that on the phone? I think is probably what he's trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
There you go. Can you
it says
talk?
I'm unmuted now.
Hey, all right.
Okay.
All right, we
It says
gotta,
I'm unmuted now. Okay,
All right, well, you better behave or we're gonna mute you again.
all right.
Did you catch the amendments to the agenda, Bill?
No, I did not.
Were apparently they're in the printed version, and I don't know if you have the printed version where there was an item E. Some of us didn't have that. The electric version didn't have an item E.
It says
We
what,
added,
policy development.
this is involving, I think, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
Something
policy
wrong.
development.
Policy development restricting or prohibition on restricting and funding of firearms in the township.
Registering.
Okay, so he's got
Yeah,
the
I
info.
have that.
Okay, and then so we added item F, which is scheduling a policy governance training session with Sue Radwin in early December.
Okay.
And Brian will discuss that one. And on E, that will be Tim's discussion. Okay, Bill?
Yep.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
so we've
we got a roll call for
we
that.
have to do we have to vote on the amendment to the agenda.
Clerk Cody, I'm gonna say no, because I don't have any information in front of me on the item E. Supervisor Gunning,
As long as it's a discussion item, I'll go with it and say yes.
Treasurer Rice,
Yes, if it's discussion.
Trustee Hauk,
Yes, like, I don't have anything on it either. All I have is just the printed version that doesn't have anything with it.
Trustee Lannan,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
Trustee Worley.
I say yes, also in terms of discussion, in the way that Tim had presented it, to have it on the agenda.
All right. Agenda is approved. And we move to item 7, public comment restricted to 3 minutes regarding items on this agenda. We have anyone in the public that would like to raise their hand? Seeing none, we close public comment. We move to item 8. Item A is going to be a current list of boards and commissions, appointments as needed. We have 3 positions on the board of review that need to be filled. I think expiration dates are all, without looking at it, I believe we're all late December, correct?
Yes.
So these would be 3-year appointments, I believe,
2.
2-year appointments.
Well, maybe.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
2-year term.
Okay, so 2-year appointments, expiring 12/28 of, oh gosh, what, 2022? That sound right?
Yep,
Uh,
12/31.
actually, 12/31.
12/31, okay, I'm sorry. Let me get to that page. All right. So first one that we have up on the docket would be Doug LaBelle. Having served on the board of review for the last 4 years, I can basically give background in all 3. Doug's been wonderful to have on that board. Having somebody that has the ability to look on the real estate websites like he does, has inside track on things. I think that he's been a huge bonus, and he's been very conscientious. And I think our board review has been excellent every time we've had one.
I certainly would support that, and I would,
Trustee Melky has his hand up.
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see.
Trustee Milky, yes.
I won't argue with anything you just said. I do want to point out that, one of the policies we have in our planning commission is rotating board. And I'm thrilled that the applicants that applied. Each of them have done their due diligence in this, and I'm grateful for that. But I do have concerns that as we look forward, do we want our boards have more of a rotating schedule so that we're not potentially losing the entire board at once? And so there's always a little bit of institutional memory overlap. And I'm not suggesting that we have to address that today, but I wanted to point that out.
If I may, Chair,
Yes.
the board of review is a little different in this aspect. The term is statutorily defined, start and end dates.
That's helpful. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. So we do have a motion and a second on this, I believe, right? Any further discussion? All right, this would be reappointing
Did Gunny make the motion or did Worley?
Don't think
Gunning.
Gunning.
So Gunny made the motion and then Worley supported it. Hold on. Oops. Okay, roll call then.
This would be for a 2-year term expiring 12/31 of 2022.
Okay, Supervisor Gunny,
Yes.
Trustee Lannan,
Yes.
Clerk Cody, yes. Treasurer Rice,
Yes.
Trustee Milky,
Yes.
trustee Hauk,
Yes.
and trustee Worley.
Yes.
All yes.
All right, next person up be Brian Nyer. Brian, again, excellent. He's always shows up. He's always there early. He's a farmer, so it's really nice having somebody with agricultural background on that board. Works very well with everyone else. He was our chair this last go around. And again, I strongly encourage his renomination for another 3-year term.
I'll support that.
Any further discussion on Brian Nyer? Or Cody, roll call. This again would be an expiration date of 12/31/2022.
Trustee Worley,
Yes.
trustee Milky,
Yes.
trustee Lannon,
Yes.
supervisor Genning,
Yes.
trustee Hauk,
Yes.
treasurer Wright,
Yes.
clerk Cody, yes.
And the third one up, Randy Golden, as the alternate. Having a alternate has been hugely important. We've always ended up calling him in. He has always in the last, sometimes it's been at the last moment. He's always shown up. Again, he brings a lot of knowledge with him. I think he's, again, very conscientious, has the township's interests at heart when we make decisions. But I would, again, strongly encourage another affirmation on Randy Golden, an appointment for the next 2 years.
I'll support it.
Okay, motion support. Discussion on Randy. Seeing none, take this to vote. Clerk Cody, roll call.
Did you want to say his expiration date?
Yeah, that'd be 12/31/2022.
He actually has an expiration date for the alternate as 1/25/21, so it would be 1/25/23.
Okay, 1/25/23 then.
Well, what do we do to replace James on that then?
Well, we've got Randy as the alternate. That's why it's so important to have that alternate in there right now. So we can at least start that way. That's gonna be a tough board position to fill too.
Brian's hand is up.
Yes, trustee Milky.
So question to our manager then with follow-up on the staggering, should Mr. Golden's term also coincide with the 2 we just approved?
I just noticed that expiration date. I
He's
think,
actually an alternate though, so he would fill in for the other one, so I think you'd keep him the same.
Still a board member though, and if the law says one thing.
in response to your question, I'd like an opportunity to review that existing expiration date. If it is accurate, then there's no reason to be reappointing him. Maybe we appointed him in the, like I say, I need to research it. So maybe as it pertains to the alternate, you give us another meeting to look at that, maybe rescind that motion. The next board of review meets in the middle of December. So we do have the opportunity to appoint Randy once we get that expiration date figured out.
I believe, Mark, if I may interrupt you, I think I have an answer on that. I believe that what ended up happening is we needed to have an alternate on that board. I think this would have been 2-year terms. This would have been 2019, and it seems to me that's why there was the change in the expiration date, was that we needed to have an alternate because we knew we were going to be short a person. And so I think he actually was sworn in on that particular day. And that's why the expiration date is such.
Like I said, if that expiration date is accurate, there's no need to be taking action to reappoint him. So I think it's best for the board to backtrack on this nomination, pull the motion on Mr. Golden.
All right. So I will rescind my motion for the nomination of Randy Golden for the board review to be reviewed at a later date to check on the expiration date.
Thank you.
All right. Item B, board member reports. We'll start, let's see. I'm going to start with Trustee Hauk.
I have nothing. I haven't gone to any meetings.
Trustee Lannon,
No meetings to report on.
Clerk Cody,
I just want to say that the election results have been certified today. So thank you for the previous members of the board and congratulations to the new board that will be starting on the 20th. And I will be contacting you to get everyone sworn in. All members need to be sworn in, including the previous board. Thanks.
kudos on the election, by the way.
Yes.
I went over and signed some papers and I couldn't believe the size of the line.
It was a challenging one.
Yes, it was. A lot of people registering the day of too, eh?
Yeah, we had, I think 40, I don't know, quite a few people.
Yeah, that's what I
Over 100
understand.
over the
That's-
weekend.
So whoever's watching this, if you haven't registered to vote, try to do it before the day of the election.
Makes for a busy day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
Don't put it in the
don't know
mail.
what rock you've been living underneath, but try to do it a little bit earlier next time.
I wanted to say thank you, Lisa. I want to congratulate you. I think you ran a good election. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about a free, fair, secure, and legitimate election. And I think you did exactly that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as we've seen at Antrim County, it's pretty easy to screw it all up too, right? So thankfully, you know, you're on top of getting your software done and all that stuff, so. Treasurer Rice,
No meetings to report on.
okay, but we do have property taxes coming out shortly.
Yes, taxes will be out. They should be in mailboxes by December 1st.
And Trustee Milky,
Nothing to report. Thank you.
all right.
I didn't
Oh,
say,
I'm sorry, Norma, you were talking, so I forgot. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have nothing to report either.
Okay, all right, you just wanted to get your hand up, right? Okay.
I'm like talking.
Thought you had something really important to say.
I was
All right.
really smart.
You're getting punchy. This is your last meeting.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so closing item 8, we move to item 9. Consent agenda. So we will need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I would make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as is.
Support.
Any discussion? Who has checked the payables?
I checked from home because of COVID, so I went through what we had on our packet, and I understand that Mark also made out the check. So I feel comfortable with the audit.
All right. So we do have a motion second. In favor of approving the consent agenda?
Trustee Lannon,
Support.
trustee Worley,
Yes,
Trustee Milky,
Yes.
Trustee Hauk,
Yes.
Clerk Cody, yes. Treasurer Rice
Yes.
and Supervisor Gunning.
Yes. All right, we move into new business. Item A, this is going to be discussion action item. This is to approve a resolution for an alternate meeting date for the December 2020 board review to December 17th at 2:00 p.m.
So this item is just, it's pretty much ministerial in nature. It's to avoid conflicts with existing meetings that would be on the statutory date, Planning Commission, EDA. All the board review members have been contacted. They're available at this date and time.
I'll make a,
Discussion?
um,
You need motion first, right?
yeah.
Maybe after 4 years, I'd figure that one out.
Can I motion to approve a resolution for the alternate meeting date for December 2020 Board of Review to December 17th at 2 p.m.?
Support.
Support.
Okay, so motion Cody, support Hauk.
I think Worley did too.
That's
Oh.
okay. Bill can have it.
Okay.
What's that? Why don't we give it to, let's
no.
give it to Worley,
I
so he
didn't
gets
take
his
it,
name
Mark.
in the minutes.
He was just
You know
quiet.
he's gonna come back in public comment in December and start to change it. Well, I don't think I said that. All right, so we have motion, Cody, support Worley in the minutes. And we take this, well, further question, discussion. Pretty straightforward, right? Any discussion on this? All right, so we take this to vote for Cody?
Clerk Cody, yes. Trustee Worley,
Yes.
Trustee Milky,
Yes.
Treasurer Rice,
Yes.
Trustee Lannon,
Yes.
Supervisor Gunning,
Yes?
Trustee Hauk.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
All right, we move to item B. This is again a discussion action item. Consider the approval of the attached resolution opting out of the employer health care benefit plan contribution limits as allowed under State of Michigan Public Act 152, Publicly Funded Health Insurance Contribution Act for the benefit year of 2021. Mark, you want to lead us in on that one?
Thank you. This is an annual item that the board considers. Just a little bit of background, Public Act 152, which was signed at this point, many years ago, requires government employers to establish cost sharing standards as it relates to the employee health care benefit. There are three alternatives available to the local units of government. The one is that the employer's cost share needs to be competitive with the state preferred provider plan on a per employee basis. You might have heard of this as the hard cap alternative. The second option is that the employer's share of the benefit expense not exceed 80%. And the third option is that the local unit of government can opt out of the requirements of Public Act 152. To do that, it requires a 2/3 vote of the Board of Trustees. The last several years, Union Township Board has opted out. We are below the 80-20. The last several employment agreements have been moving us from what originally was 100% cost borne by the employer to in the current labor agreement in 2022, it will max out at 90% employer, 10% employee. And so we've been moving the direction that the Board of Trustees has wanted us to move. They've expressed a policy preference of 80-20, but that's subject to negotiation. I think we've made very good progress over the last few years. And so in order to continue with that and honor our currently approved labor agreements, the administration's recommending that the Board of Trustees opt out of these requirements. And again, I'll just remind the board that to do so will take 5 affirmative votes if there's a motion to approve this resolution. Thank you.
You need a motion.
I'll motion to approve the resolution opting out of the employer health care benefit plan contribution limits as allowed under State of Michigan Public Act 152, Publicly Funded Health Insurance Contribution Act for benefit year 2021.
Support.
Motion Cody, support Milky. Discussion. Trustee Milky.
Just for clarity, we have some public here as well. For us to not approve this would essentially be reneging on the negotiations that we've directed our manager to have with staff. And I just don't see why this board would change that. So I'll be voting yes. Thank you.
Further discussion? Norm, was that a bottle of Jack Daniels you just drank out of?
Really,
Okay.
organic tea. Also later.
Okay. All right. So we'll be taking this up to vote then. This would be a motion to approve, consider approval of the attached resolution opting out of the employer health care benefit contribution plan contribution limits as allowed under State of Michigan Public Act 152 for the benefit year of 2021. Clerk Cody.
I believe in the motion, I did not say consider, but just for the record, I didn't.
Gotcha.
I think I did. Treasurer Rice,
Yes.
Trustee Lannon,
Yes.
Trustee Worley,
Yes.
Supervisor Gunning,
Yes.
Trustee Help,
Yes.
Trustee Monkey,
Yes.
Clerk Cody, yes.
Right. Move on to our next item. This would be item D. This is the approved to schedule the FY 2021 budget adoption public hearing for Tuesday, November 24th, and to notice same in the Morning Sun as required by statute. We need a motion. Trustee Milky,
I'd like to motion approval to schedule the fiscal year 2021 budget adoption public hearing for Tuesday, November 24th, 2020, and to notice same in the Morning Sun as required by statute.
Support.
okay. Motion Milky, support Worley.
Yep.
Discussion. Trustee Milky, you have your hand up?
I meant to lower it. Sorry. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
I
Seeing no
don't know how to
discussion?
raise my hand on the phone. I don't know how to raise my hand on the phone, but it'll be in the Deer Blind edition of the Morning Sun that morning, November 15th.
Ah. All right, so take this up to vote. This would be to approve to schedule the FY 2021 budget adoption public hearing for Tuesday, November 24th, 2020, and to notice the same in the Morning Sun as required by statute. Clerk Cody?
Clerk Cody, yes. Trustee Monkey,
Yes.
Trustee Hauk,
Yes.
Supervisor Gunning,
Yes.
Trustee Worley,
yes,
Trustee Lannon,
Yes.
Treasurer Rice.
Yes.
All yes.
All right, item E, our much discussed item E that I have absolutely no information on.
right.
So somebody else is gonna have to tell me what it
Missed
says.
Missed-
It's item
missed
D.
one.
What's
The
that?
last- The
Item
last one
D.
was C. The last was C. This one's C.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
Second
gotcha.
reading.
Okay, all right. So this would be to item D. This is to conduct a second reading for and adopt the new municipal ordinance violations bureau ordinance.
I would make a motion that we conduct the second reading for and adopt the new municipal ordinance violation bureau ordinance.
Second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion?
We all know all about it.
Thank you, Rodney.
Yes, long overdue. Thank you.
All right. Further discussion, folks? Okay, and this will have to be a roll call anyway, right?
Yeah.
So we take this to vote?
Trustee Worley,
Yes,
Trustee Monkey,
Absolute yes.
Clerk Cody, yes. Supervisor Gunning,
Sure.
Treasurer Rice,
Yes.
Trustee Lannon,
Yes.
Trustee Hauk.
Yes.
All yes.
Now we go to E that we don't have any information on. So I suppose what we should do is have Trustee Lannon bring this one up because I have no idea.
It is, although we didn't get it in our board packet, it is in the packet online on our webpage, just to let you know. I brought it up.
Well, hold on.
It has E on that one.
I got it in my physical packet.
I have my physical packet too.
I don't
get
have
it in my
anything.
physical packet.
I printed
I had
mine.
my physical packet, but I didn't get anything on it.
Mm-mm.
So do you want to go ahead and Tim and bring, this is your item, so why don't you bring it up?
Fantastic. Hopefully I'm coming through clearly to all of you. But this was an idea in an effort to protect the finances of the township as well as the potential reputation of the township. In the event that the township owned a firearm or funded a firearm and something went terribly wrong. There's municipals across this country that have had firearm issues and has cost them millions and millions of dollars in lawsuits. And for whatever reason, you go into sporting goods stores and there's virtually not firearms or ammunition to be purchased. So there seems to be a real interest in owning firearms. But anyways, my whole thought about this is trying to look forward from a high level and predict something to be ahead of the curve on something that could be problematic. And so I was proposing for discussion for the future board to possibly have a policy ordinance or something that would prohibit registration and funding of firearms in the name of the township. And to think about it before a situation happens. We have time to talk about and think about and see if it's worthy to consider. I know in the past, we've talked about dedicated police services, and one of the issues was that we would provide patrol car, firearm, uniforms, and whatever went to fund that dedicated service. But I would just suggest for your consideration to think about the potential if, in fact, there was an unintentional discharge of a firearm, an accidental discharge of a firearm, a negligent discharge of a firearm, or an intentional discharge of a firearm, which is going to hopefully be a very low frequency but high risk situation of an intentional disarm. And I am aware of at least one instance in close proximity to us of accidental discharge of a firearm by law enforcement. So it happens. Why does it happen? It could be mechanical. It could be human nature. It could be simply a muscle tightening that someone actually had their finger on a trigger and pulled it. And so if we owned one, who knows who could have it. I was just suggesting a forward-thinking idea from my perspective for the next board to consider or table or dismiss. Thank you.
Trustee Melky?
Thanks. I just want to follow up on that. Took my hand down. I thought about this when I saw this on the agenda, and I was trying to figure out what your thoughts were going to be, Tim. And I'm glad to hear you say that it's really a concern of liability against the township. If for some reason the township were to put a firearm in our name and something happened, because we would be cited as the owner, we have liability that could be huge. Obviously, I think, and you spoke to this too, that we've talked about having support of police forces from the township in the future. In fact, this township has had a constable in the past. I don't know if that constable is armed or not, but there is a potential for that in the future. And I think if and when that time comes, the current board at that time can certainly address this policy that you're suggesting to be looked at that time. But in the interim, it would make sense that our township would want to stay away from that liability. Thank you.
Yep. Any further discussion?
What would be the difference? I guess the township wouldn't own the weapon, but do we have any policy that says, just say for instance, a building official? I know there's building officials in the area that carry concealed weapons. I know there's building inspectors in the area that carry concealed weapons. I guess, do we have anything that says that they can't do that? I'm not sure. I mean,
what I heard from Tim, and Tim, you jump in, but what I heard was the township owning the weapon. I mean, obviously,
right, that's right, yeah.
Right. And so I think it's discouraging us buying one for someone. I could see those building officials seeing the need to, if they have a permit to do that, but it's not in the township name that they carry that. And that removes us from some direct liability in the event of something horrible happening.
But what if they have that weapon, it's their own weapon, and it misfires while they're on the job? Do we have anything? I'm not sure. I mean,
If I may, Supervisor.
Yep.
As it relates to employment, there is a policy in the township that employees are prohibited from carrying firearms while on duty. Doesn't matter who owns them, doesn't matter if they got a concealed permit, none of that matters. There's an employment policy that prohibits carrying firearms, concealed or otherwise.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we close item E and move to item F. This is going to be to discuss scheduling a policy governance training session for the new board. Brian,
Ma'am?
would you like to?
Yes, please. Thank you. Yeah, I looked into this for our new board for education and review of what policy governance is, what our policy is. And it just so happens that Susan Radwin is available on the evenings of December 2nd and December 9th. And was hoping that we could schedule meetings so that we can lock her schedule in so that it works and so that Board of Trustees can put that in their calendars. Mark, do we have a time on that?
I was not able to get,
You just muted yourself. There we go.
I was not able to get an answer from Susan, but I'm sure anything between a start time of 5 and 7 would be fine with her. You can anticipate 90 minutes per session, each of those 2 nights.
Okay. And so essentially laying the groundwork for this new board to have discussions revolving policy governance. So can we, I think what Mark, our manager, is looking for on this is confirmation from this board that he can go ahead and lock down that schedule.
I'm actually looking for the board to schedule 2 special meetings, one to be held on the 2nd, one to be held on the 9th. At a time you can, whoever, if somebody makes a motion, the start time between 5 and 7 p.m. That's what I'm looking for.
And this would be public invited also on this?
Oh yeah, any meeting is a public meeting.
Okay, and then this would be the training session though, right?
Yes, there'd be 2.
It would be handled just like an open meeting then.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right.
With that,
All right,
then,
so we do need to have a motion then, and this would be specifically to schedule a policy governance training meeting with Ms. Sue Radwin on the 2nd and the 9th of December with a start time between 5 and 7 o'clock p.m.
well said. I will move exactly that. Ben, do you need me to restate it?
What's that? I don't believe so. No.
So move what you said.
All right, we have a motion second. Any other discussion on this item? Trustee Lannon.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. That will give the board some base information about policy governance and our policy manual. But once you get through that and you are on board a little longer, I would also recommend attending some of the work sessions possibly that she puts on, generally off-site. But they're quite in-depth and quite enlightening. Thank you.
Further discussion?
You
For
said
Cody,
December, right? Like the 2nd?
December.
December.
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yep.
make sure, because I was writing it down. Thank you. Ready for roll call or
Ready for roll call?
Supervisor Gunning?
Yes.
Trustee Worley?
Yes.
Clerk Cody, yes. Trustee Milky?
Yes.
Trustee Help?
Yes.
Trustee Lannon?
Yes.
Treasurer Rice?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Motion passes.
Motion carries. That closes or ends new business. We go to item 11. This is going to be extended public comment. This is restricted to 5 minutes regarding any issue. We do have 3 members of the public attending right now the meeting. If any of those would like to have their, like to say anything, just need to raise your hand so I can recognize you. Don't be bashful.
We'll have to speak up at next meeting.
There we go. All right, seeing no public comment, we close public comment and we go to item 12.
Lisa's raising her hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Who made that motion? And then who seconded it for the Sue Radman one? I didn't get it in my,
I moved.
who supported it? It was Gunning and then Milky.
Yeah, give it to me.
I was gonna say, I thought it was Gunning in the Milky, but
Yeah,
Okay, I just wanted to verify.
yeah, go ahead and give it to me. Let me be in the minutes. All right. So with that, we close public comment and we move to manager's comments. Mark.
Thank you. My only comment is to thank this Board of Trustees for the last 4 years. I think you've done a great job leading the township. I've really enjoyed working with the board over the last 4 years. And for those that are not returning, best of luck and thank you for your service to the township. Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you. All right, we move from item 12 to item 13, final board member comment. Let's see, how do I want to run this? Let's start with Trustee Hauk.
Oh, man, I was thinking of a song to sing.
Want me to change it? We save you for last?
No, that's okay. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Norm, Tim, Ben, thank you for everything. Hopefully our new board will be as good as this one.
Thank you, Bill. Trustee Lamon?
Yeah, thank you. I think you have the makings for a really terrific board. It'd be an exciting board to be on. Just wanted to extend that it has been my pleasure serving the township on the board for the past 12 years. And I just want to shout out back in 2008, John Barker was our supervisor. And I think he is a really forward thinker. And he brought the thought of policy governance, township of excellence to the board. And I give him credit for elevating the level that the township board operated on. Thank you. I'll miss y'all.
Cody?
Oh, that's the same vibe. No, same thing I just said in my previous comments. Thank you to all the board members that served and welcome all the new members. I also want to thank all my election inspectors, Jennifer, Mark, Chris from CMS. They all did an amazing job. They worked until 3:30 in the morning. It was very, very long, stressful day for everyone, but we got everything done. Everything was perfect. Good job. Thank you.
and thank you for Lisa, who was there till 6 something in the morning.
6:45.
You don't get paid enough, Lisa.
Mm-mm.
That needs to be addressed by our next supervisor. Treasurer Rice.
Well, I guess with that being said, I mean, it's probably too late to make a motion, but I mean, is there, with everything that's been done and that kind of thing, is there anything anybody like for support for Lisa? Like, not a bonus, but additional compensation, one-time compensation for she was there every day, all day long on salary it's realistically a part-time salary. And the addition of all of these extra votes and absentee ballots and everything like that, just something to think about, I think.
Well, the
Should
good
be a
thing is
full-time
we've
job.
got several members of the new board are attending this meeting, and there's
Mhm.
obviously 3 that are, so this is something that can be addressed by the next board. So. All right, let's see here. Norm, do you have a legal pad? Should I save you for last or what?
This is my.
I know you too
final-
well, dude. You got the legal pad, don't you?
Give him the
This
last
is my
word.
final board comments. So I couldn't just let it go and say nothing. So I had something to say tonight.
Is
So
it a parable?
after this, you're no longer going to have to listen to these long-winded comments awaiting you at the close of the meetings. Adjournment will probably occur a whole lot sooner each meeting. But I also think that maybe you're going to miss some of these comments once in a while. But anyway, I wanted to really focus tonight about our accomplishments as a board. And, there's so much that's gone on in the course of the 4 years. I just kind of sat down, I just sort of highlighted going back to our first meeting and some of the goals that we were setting for our tenure. And I just want to go through kind of memory lane with the board in terms of what I feel we've accomplished and what we all should be feeling good about. Our number one goal, if you remember, was that we said that we wanted to increase our communication and better our relationships with other government entities and other municipalities. And I think that the relationships that we have with the city of Mount Pleasant, with Isabella County, with the Saginaw Chippewa tribe, with CMU, with the Road Commission, I think we really have stuck to what we said we were going to do. And we really had some good working relationships that are supportive, they're collaborative, and they're trusting. And I give that credit to us as a board, but I also give that credit to Mark and his staff because they've continued to work to improve those relationships as well. And historically, that has not always been the case going back in the history of Union Township and some of these other municipal entities. Second, I've mentioned this several times. I have felt extremely honored to be able to serve as a liaison to the tribe. I think it's been a tremendous learning experience for me. I feel I've learned a lot about their history, their culture, the struggles that they've had, and the pride that they have in what they contribute to our community. And we've been fortunate now to have received the 2% distribution every cycle over the past 4 years. And again, that wasn't something that was occurring before. Again, I give credit to the board, Mark, to staff, etc. for that. What I'm most proud of is that when we as a board unanimously supported our resolution reaffirming the township's human rights ordinance, this is where we took a stand and we said that we were going to protect individuals from discrimination because of race, religion, color, national origin, sex, age, marital status, sexual orientation, or gender identity. I think that was, for me personally, that was one of the proudest moments in being on the board. And then if you remember, the diversity of the folks that were in that meeting that night to listen to that and how proud they felt that we were doing that as a group. And again, it was unanimous with all of us. On 2 separate occasions during our term, we unanimously affirmed our support and adherence to our policy governance. What we're talking about tonight, setting up again training meetings, reinforced for the new people coming in and for learn for yourselves the importance of that. And the policy governance has provided us with a framework on how our township governs itself, provides checks and balances, and it provides us always an opportunity to review, evaluate, and to revise where necessary. We also reviewed and approved 2 significant updates and revisions of the township's master plan and the zoning ordinances that were given to us by our planning commission. And now we're in the 21st century in both those policies. Earlier tonight, we were talking about the Violations Bureau and now being able to have fines. We talked about that from day one. Our citizens were asking, going back to the survey, that there should be stricter zoning ordinances and there should be enforcement of those zoning ordinances. Well, we did that as well. During the course of our tenure, there has been hiring. Mark has hired new staff, and I believe that the new staff has contributed significantly to the efficiency, professionalism, and the delivery of services for our residents. And I'm really proud to have gotten to know the folks as well and to be able to work with them. We also, during our tenure, we talked about we were committed to public safety, quality of life, infrastructure, the natural environment, and being responsive to residents' concerns. And I think that we hit all those points along the way. Just for example, we made it a point to re-gravel 20 miles of gravel roads. We would do 4 miles a year, 5 miles. We graveled 4 miles of gravel road for the residents of the township. Now we're ready to go back and start the track all over again. We talked about a real big issue was Isabella Road, and talking about the safety and traffic flow, the intersection upgrades, the safety lights, the turn signals, etc. And we were able to work with the tribe and with other entities to get that 2% award as well for those. And that's in the making now and will be implemented soon. We have also constructed many sidewalks and pathway installations that have improved the connectivity for our residents, for their safety, for exercise, and just to enjoy and get around. There's been bridge repairs and upgrades. We've had multiple roads resurfaced throughout the township, sewer and water projects. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And I think it's important. I like to always look back when I get to the end of something. I like to sort of go through the memory lane and to see what was accomplished. And I think we can all be very proud of what we have done. And we did this all while operating in a very financially responsible and prudent manner. The taxpayers got bang for their buck because we made sure that we're spending our money wisely. And I think these are just some of the highlights, and there's probably some that I've missed here. But I just want to say that I want to congratulate all those that are going to be continuing on, that won your elections and you're going to continue on. I value your service and continued service to the community. I also want to welcome the new board members and thank them for taking the initiative to put their necks on the line and be willing to go the next 4 years doing this. And so I want to say that I wish the new board all the success, and I hope that you continue to build upon the legacy that we have left for you. And it has really been an honor and a pleasure to have worked with each of you and to have gotten to know you each personally. And I thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Norm.
My final board member, final board comment.
Trustee Milky, are you glad I saved you for last?
No, I don't like following norm.
Oh, you're
But
good.
I do have a few words. They're a little bit longer than Norm's, but not by much.
Yeah,
Norm, thank you for that. I think it's probably really good for the newly, what do you call them, officials elect, to be here and hear that summary, because I think it's important to stop and celebrate what this board has done. And I obviously can't take credit for a lot of that. I came here to this board in a non-traditional way. I hope you all don't regret that, because I sat on this board for 13 months as an appointed member, not an elected member. So that I'm very grateful for the opportunity that you all gave me. You know, I was reflecting today as well, because we're closing a chapter here, and feeling a bit of emotions towards those that won't continue on. And I want to thank you. Some people just live, right? But these members here, you earn what you need to live, but your life is what you give. And each of you has given of yourself for your community, and for that you should be proud. I'm proud of you. And so I'm saddened by some of the faces that won't be here moving on, but I have to say the next chapter I'm really excited about. I hope that our next board can accomplish as much as this board, and maybe, who knows, maybe even more. I have high hopes, and I'm optimistic. And thank you all for your service to your community.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
well, I kind of, in retrospect, it's been quite the civics lesson the last 4 years for me. Seeing how things operate, see how governments function. I think the one thing that I'm proudest of, and I was talking with actually a couple of my EDA board members this afternoon, and I said, I think the proudest thing I can look at is the amount of time that I put into board composition. And, for the next supervisor, Trustee Melky, I think that's an important thing. I kind of felt like when I walked in the door, sometimes the boards were just kind of thrown together on, if you had a pulse and you wanted to do it, then you were on. And I really tried to spend a lot of time trying to create a team, and bringing in people with different thoughts, that represented, different constituencies. I think that's important. You need to have, a realtor on the board of review. I think that's important. I think, you need to have, somebody that's involved in the building trades, on a planning commission. You need to have that knowledge base, and you need to have different opinions, right? I think that's one thing that's really important for any leader, is to make sure that you don't create a board with one ideal, is to have multiple thoughts and different ideals. And I just think it makes a better board. I'm hoping that nationally we can move forward and try to work together, and eliminate a lot of the tribalism that we've seen in the last 4 to 6 years. And I think locally, I think that's something that we really need to strive to do, is we need to be inclusive. We need to have, people from different parties and different persuasions, involved in the process. And I just think it makes everybody feel more involved and more a part of it. I appreciate, everything that that you folks have said over the last 4 years. I've tried to make myself maybe a better person because of it. I don't know, Norm, I don't know about you, but I thank everybody else. But I've appreciated the time, and I've got one more meeting with the EDA. It looks like, I thought it was all done, Rod, but I guess not, eh? One more. Yep. I was attending the meeting from 1,000 miles away. That's probably the long distance record for a township meeting participant. So anyways, with that, we'll close it down, and we'll need to have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you. And good night, folks.
Hi, Timmy.